All right, so welcome to another Stock Talks episode from the Chart Readers. Hey, if you have not already, please check out the website, chartreaders.com. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a free weekly email. All I need is your email. I don't ask for your name, none of that stuff. And you get just a little bit more detail that just sometimes I forget to add on these. So I have actually not done this video in almost 2 months. We're going to look at the crypto sector. So the last time I made this video was August 3rd. So I'm basically going to kind of run through August on this first ticker. And ideally, it's kind of the same thing across the sector. I'll be honest, I really haven't looked at this much, right? If I haven't made the video, you can kind of assume I'm not really looking at these on the personal, right? That said, what are we going to do? Like always, right? We're going to start on the daily and also look at the weekly. We'll use our moving average lines as well as these horizontal support and resistance lines that I manually draw. And then after we finish up here, we'll go down here to the MACD and the RSI. So we're going to start with what I kind of consider the big boy. We'll look at Coinbase, and then from there we will, just look at a few more. So again, the last time I made this video was early August. Like I said, August 3rd. Actually, I think this is the last day. But nonetheless, my lines still held up, which is crazy. And a lot, hopefully, was understood using these moving averages, right? So let's take a look. First and foremost, I hope you noticed this 100 moving average line was a monster resistance, right? Looked like we were going to break it up here and obviously failed. Opened just below it and made a good run, but again, closed below it. Opened above it, closed below it, right? It never got over the 100 in this like early to mid-August frame, right? And right here, should be no surprise, right? Once you lose the 8 moving average, literally on this day, once you lose the 8 moving average, it just was devastating, right? Just devastating. It looks like this 50 caught us pretty well, actually, because, again, it made its way down. Clearly a combination of this 67 line that I drew, but really, I'll give it a little bit more, I think, to the 50 moving average line. There was a nice move right here in early September, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. Excuse me. So what are we looking at right here? I use the phrase often, right? But this is a very tight cluster. You have 4 lines. There's only 5 total, right? So 4 out of the 5 are a few dollars away from each other. You have 3 horizontal lines that I made that are really tight with each other. This is an incredibly tight cluster. And you got to know, to break it and confirm, I need a lot. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not going to lie. This, I'm sure, set up a lot of people for failure because you got what looked like a really nice close and a finish above. Even though it's red, it's still a finish above, right? But again, I would want a more... That's a weak candle, okay? I'm not a person that trades candles by any means, but that's a weak candle. Like, that's a good candle. That's a good candle. Shit, it's red, but that's a good candle, right? These are not. So, again, clearly we failed. Again, try to just stay up with this 8, and then right here again, once we lost the 8, just trading below and down, right? So, again, I really love seeing that my horizontal line still held. And I do hope that you were able to use the moving averages really to guide yourself since we made this video, right? What are we looking at right now? Look, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days under the 8 is not good at all, right? This RSI looks a little interesting though, right? I'm kind of starting to see a little bit of a curve. I'm kind of starting to see a little bit of a curve on the green. Look, I would keep an eye on this. Obviously, rule number 1 is get over the 8 moving average, right? So, in all honesty, the best place is 75. I would wait until the break of 75 and pretty much run, right? I'm going to make a couple new lines, but I'd be interested to see if this is going to play out or if we're just going to keep going down. Right now, the lines up here say keep going down, but this curve and this little curve has me a little curious. I'll at least say that. Let me go to the weekly before I make some new lines. Again, this weekly does not look good at all, right? I mean, we're obviously under the 8. It does look like we are under the 20. I mean, I think the 20 is pretty much lining up with my line, if I'm not mistaken, right? So yeah, the 20 is at 67.32. My line is at 67.38. So it's hidden behind this. So, but again, I don't like it, right? You got to be over the 8. So, has me a little bit worried here. But again, I'm curious to see what happens. But one more time, the safest entry is at least over the 8. Really, I would even say it's waiting until 75. So my 2 cents there. Let me draw a couple lines real quick. I would for sure make one off of this. Oh, look at that. It hits that exactly too. So you do know that's a good strong line. And then I'm going to make one on that. I think that's a good additional 2 lines between that 75 that we had and then that 112. So coin, look, does not look bullish. I don't want to pretend that this is a very bad chart. That said, I'm curious. I'm interested to see what this does because there's no reason for this curve, right? There's no reason for that curve. So I'm curious. I'll say that much one more time. Mara, Marathon Digital Holdings. So again, does not look very good and actually looks a lot, not quite as similar as I wanted to, but a couple similarities I do see with coin. So first off, I see this 100 really coming into the middle of the play, right? It does seem like Mara did better. It actually was able to break the 100. However, again, I'm loving the fact that my lines have been good for 2 whole months, right? I hope that gives you a little extra confidence in these lines that I draw, because again, these are manually that I'm drawing, right? I just have, years of experience, for lack of words, right? But you can totally do it yourself if you watch enough of these, right? So, but what happens, right? We do break the 100, but we couldn't break this line. How far were we from the 200? Sorry to zoom out so much. Oh, we were a ways away. That's a long distance to the 200. So yeah, this clearly was what stopped us, right? It was this manual line that I drew. And then again, riding the 8 up, riding the 8 up, riding the 8 up, then riding the 8 down, riding the 8 down, riding the 8 down. We have a good bounce right here, right? This is a cluster. And just as I say, it's hard to lose clusters, it's hard to break clusters. So instead of losing it, it actually broke up, but nonetheless wasn't able to sustain and made its way down. So again, where are we at? A number of days trading under the 8. That already has us at a bad place. But again, I'm just curious. Look, by no means am I saying these are bearish or bullish. I'm actually saying they're more bearish than bullish. I would be more negative on these first 2, but there's a little curiosity in me, and that's all I'm saying. So just watch these in the morning. And again, don't touch this thing if it doesn't get over 1037. If you can't get over 1037, you're for sure not even worth my money. The safest place, again, though, you got to close above 1057 to really be interesting, right? Taking a look at the weekly, again, same actual thing as we saw in coin. This one's 3 weeks under, and then again, 2 weeks under the 20. So I'm actually going to draw some support lines. I'm going to put one right there, and I'll put another one, yeah, a little lower, but whatever. One sec. I am going to, and again, that just goes to show you, like, I'm actually a little more bearish than bullish, and we do need to have a couple lines down there. So the first 2 definitely not great, but hey, they might be trying to do something. Oh, interesting. Riot looking a little better. And again, this is kind of what I thought I saw on the last 2. Again, I'll be honest, I have not seen this Riot chart, so you're watching this for the first time as I'm watching this. So what's happened? Let's kind of do the same August. Look at this. Again, a little closer to Mara, right? A much longer riding up, but then again, just like coin, this 100 was difficult, right? So we fail, and actually fail really hard on the 100. Trade under the 8 for a bunch. Nice break. Same fail that we saw in the rest. But again, this curve is what I thought I was seeing on the other ones. I do like this. This is looking a little bullish. I wish the MACD was above as well, but hey, look, we have closed over the 8. We're very close to the 100 and the 20, and shit, it got to there at some point today, right? So I for sure will call this the best of the 3 so far. And again, needs to get over some lines. The safest place would be to wait. What's this? Wait until you get over 750, and then that would be a good place. Safest place would really be 8, if not 830. Because then it's just almost actually a gap fill at that point, right? So this one looks good, though. This one actually has a shot tomorrow. I would say a little better than the rest. And maybe gives me something to hope that I did see on Coin and Mara. So, yeah. Again, not a great weekly at all, right? So if there's a good day, it really just might be a couple days and then drop, right? Because if your weekly is bad, that means you're going to have a bunch of bad days, right? And what does a good weekly mean? I want a bunch of weeks over the 8, right? If I can get 1, 2, 3, for sure 4 and 5 are going to be beautiful if I've already closed 3 in a row, right? So just that's what I'm saying. It's good to have a bunch of good weeks because then you'll have a bunch of good days. It's really bad to have bad weeks, right? Because then you're going to have a bunch of bad days. So that's the first 3. We're about halfway there. Coming up to HIVE. HIVE blockchain. Ooh, HIVE looks ugly. I'm going to completely disregard this. I know the green is up because I've always said 60 to 80% of the work is up here, and this just looks ugly. It doesn't have that curve the other ones did. It just lost an important line. I need to draw new lines now. Like, yeah, HIVE looks bad. I'm just going to be real honest. I'm going to put one line right there. That's actually exactly where we're sitting at, so I got to make at least another line. We'll use, let me lower that just a little bit. We'll use that right there. And then I'll put one more right here. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm not going to look at the weekly, but again, I'm going to say it one more time. 80% of the work is up here. I don't care that this thing has that nice little uptick that I normally like. You got to do so much more up here to make me even consider giving you a penny of my valuable dollars, right? So get out of here, HIVE. Get out of here. EBON. Okay, EBON. Again, RIOT is the better answer because RIOT kind of started doing this, but did it at least above the 8, right? So that's, again, why I like doing these sector views, because you can look at a bunch of tickers in a group and put your money in 1 or 2, right? Like, I don't have a lot of money. I mean, I have a good amount, but I don't have like a fuckload. So like, I'm not putting in like 7 grand across all of these. But hey, if I can find 1 or 2 that's worth my money, that's the game. That's how you win, right? So you evaluate across a bunch and you go. And then when there's something like this, I just go back in my head to say, hey, HIVE was better. RIOT was better, right? So EBON, are you at all-time lows? Ooh, EBON, you're at all-time low. Have you lost this? Okay, you definitely tested all-time lows today. EBON, not a good place to be. Be very, very, very careful trading EBON. I've said it a bunch of times. The last place you want your money is something that's trading an all-time lows. I'm not going to do the weekly here either. So this is a new ticker I'm going to add. I can't tell if this is a SPAC, if it's already de-SPACed or not, but SAI. So I'm going to zoom out hard. There's a monster resistance at 10, right? Again, this is why I think it's a SPAC, because that $10 number has always been historically the number that matters, right? This gap fill just still hasn't gotten filled. It got close, a little more than half, right? But you can see how hard that line was. It looked like things were going to go well. And actually, if you watched one of the earlier tickers, I don't remember. Again, these are not good candles, okay? You want full bodies. You want full body. I know it's a red, but even a red full body at least gives you an idea that, hey, we're going down, right? Those are ugly candles, and then someone paid hard today for it. Honestly, I really wish I made this video on Friday, because maybe I would have saved someone today, right? But today was a monster loss on this, and a lot of it really would have been known these last 2 days back. I know that we're trading above the 8, These are just such weak candles. So again, there are little nuances to some of my stuff, and the more you watch this, the more I hope you pick up, right? Rule number 1 is definitely trade over the 8. From there's some candle rules, like I've mentioned 50% candles here and there. Just, watch more of these videos and hopefully you'll see it. But yeah, at this point, look, this was a crusher of a day. So I wish people well. Obviously, there's a strong support at 4, so this can come down for sure to 4. Maybe we can stop right here. Maybe 450-ish, give or take, will be a bounce point. But yeah, I'm worried. Hopefully this comes up to 5. I'm going to actually draw a line right here. Give me a sec. Right there. Oh, that's a little higher than I want. Yeah, you know what? I'll leave it here. I will leave it here. So, again, getting over 581 would be a bit safer of a play. Obviously, there's another line up here, right? This is a hard line, but hey, look, if this gets to or breaks 10, shit can go wild, that's for sure. So keep this one on your radar, but yeah, it's not ready just yet. So I'll put the That's our money line right there. We'll make this one gold, actually. If we can break the gold line, shit, we'll all go to the bank together. So love it. It's not financial advice. Hey, the last one I want to show is actually what's called an inverse ETF. So this is ProShares Short Bitcoin. Okay, so what does that mean? You can buy this like a stock, and it'll basically do the opposite of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, BITI goes down. If Bitcoin goes down, BITI goes up. And look, there was a nice little crash on Bitcoin over the weekend, maybe a little bit before the weekend started, and you can see how that, obviously started to go up, right? So watch BITI. Short ProShare ETFs are an interesting way to buy a normal stock and play, the short game. So hey, I hope you're learning. Again, the next one on this should go a little quicker because really I haven't done this in 2 months. But again, I really hope you're learning. Have a great one.